The past day and a half has been an emotional roller coaster for those who knew Sergeant Andy Tingwall best.
Especially the men and the women who worked with him at the state police. News 13's Jim Winchester is live in Santa Fe with that part of the story.
And that's right, Dick, and some of those fellow officers stayed up around the clock at that command post on the mountain, not just because two people were missing, but because one of them was their friend and fellow officer, Sergeant Andy Tingwall. Now, this was the scene this afternoon as we saw dozens of squad cars joined in procession as Sergeant Tingwall's body was transferred from Santa Fe to Albuquerque. The squads from numerous other departments joined the procession as the motorcade made its way southbound on I-25. Now, this procession underscores what has been an extremely emotional 2 days for all involved.
Obviously, we've been on a roller coaster of emotions over the last 48 hours. It's been difficult for everyone. We were optimistic. We talked when we spoke with Wesley yesterday. I think we needed to begin to prepare ourselves for the worst.
When you talk a little bit about the up and down spirits, the roller coaster we were on, there's nothing like working out there and seeing 15 APD units roll up, or knowing that the BCSO helicopter is out.
I personally am extremely sad. I usually don't shed tears too easily, but I did on this one. And he was a good man.
And as sad as it was today, there was a small sense of relief. Now, nobody wanted this outcome, but at least for family members, friends, and fellow officers, they can now begin some closure. Dick, back to you.
All right, Jim. Well, this job is obviously not over yet. The investigation to determine exactly what happened still has to be held, and recovery crews are now removing wreckage from the crash site on Santa Fe Baldy tonight.
Sergeant Andy Tingwall is being remembered as a brave man who was dedicated to being an officer. Today, State Police Chief Farron Sgt couldn't say enough good things about Tingwall.
Well, obviously, it's a very somber day for the state police. I was blessed to have known Andy from the day he came on. As a young rookie officer, he was assigned to the Gallup District. I was an assistant commander at that time, and he's a squared-away individual. He's a graduate of the New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell. Somebody committed to this organization, reliable.
5 years ago, Sergeant Tingwall told Chief Sgt he wanted to be a pilot. The two flew together often. Last month, the chief says Tingwall showed his incredible skills as a pilot when the two flew to Las Cruces.
I asked Andy, which way are we going back? And he said, we're going to go back the way we came, Chief. And I said, you remember all those mountains? He said, yeah. Don't worry about it. We got the night vision goggles, and I tell you what, he did a tremendous job. We couldn't see anything outside of that helicopter, but he knew what he was doing.
In March, Tingwall was awarded Officer of the Year for rescuing a man in an arroyo last summer. The chief says it's been a very difficult time for everyone on the force.
We would spend a lot of time in the cockpit, he and I alone, just talking about things. And he'd reach over to me on more than one occasion, and he'd grab me by the shoulder, and he'd say, Chief. I said, what, Andy? I've got the best job in the world. And I truly believe that. I had nothing but confidence in that young man.
Governor Richardson ordered that flags be flown at half-staff in honor of Sergeant Tingwall.
Officer Wesley Cox, who was the spotter on the crashed helicopter, remains in serious condition in the intensive care unit at Christus St. Vincent Hospital in Santa Fe. Despite his severe injuries, he was able to hike to safety yesterday morning. Cox has a badly broken right leg, plus back and internal injuries. Doctors are also treating him for hypothermia. Officer Cox was badly hurt when he was hit by a car during a traffic stop on I-25 south of Santa Fe in 2004. And it took him 2 years to recover from those injuries.